Welcome back to School Calisthenics. It is not Tim and Jacko, it is Fanny and Jacko, because we've got a special guest, Fanny Josefine, with us for this Q&A. So really excited to really delve into Fanny's fitness experience and journey and some of the crazy things that she gets up to. Any of you that follow her on Instagram will know that she can do some ridiculous feats of strength. And those that haven't, just to give them a little bit of an introduction, your Instagram bio says ninja climbing OCR. Like, what does that, if you had to describe to people that haven't come across you, how would you sort of describe yourself to them? And welcome to the school.
Thank you. I describe it like a strong girl doing crazy stuff and ninja stuff, and then I really like climbing, and I'm running OCR races.
Cool. So definitely strong girl doing crazy stuff definitely sums up what some of the stuff that we see on your Instagram. First question from me is like, what's been your like background to where you are now? Like, so when people see you doing those crazy things on Instagram, like that doesn't happen. Like, I know, like, to get strong, to be able to do those things, that doesn't happen overnight. Like, how long have you been training for? What did you used to do when you were younger? Like, how long have you been doing and then how long have you been doing the things that you're sort of doing now?
I'm started with horse riding when I was really little,
yep.
And that's why I have strong fingers, because when you're riding, you have like you're holding
the grips. Yeah.
And then I started with kickboxing when I was like around 20, and
right.
then I did kickboxing and boxing.
So don't mess with her.
Kickboxing and boxing, and then I was a little bit confused. I didn't know what I gonna do. I tried to run, and I tried to like do crazy stuff in the gym, and just saw a lot of videos, and I couldn't do it because it was so hard.
Yeah.
And then I just take some picture of I recorded things, but just take some picture of it, and then I found ninja and climbing. I saw it on the television.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's looking so cool, but I couldn't find places in Sweden to train.
Yeah.
And then I found climbing and ninja almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I was like exploding.
Yeah. Cool.
So, but a lot of things that I'm putting up on Instagram,
yeah.
I've been working on for a long how to do it.
How many years do you think you've been doing some of that?
Not like, if we take salmon ladder, when you jump with like
the bar.
Yeah, with the bar up. A lot of people just try to do it and then try once and twice and then can't. But I was trying like for hours to just get one move up.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of much technique to just go up.
Yes.
You can't just be strong.
Yeah.
So.
And that fits in with two things that we sort of push with the School Calisthenics around. One, redefining impossible. You've probably heard us say that a few times, that when we try and do things, like, it feels impossible, and I think you're a great advocate that just because something feels impossible when you first try it, about everything you do these days feels impossible when you first try it, but actually when you figure it out, some of it's technique and not just strength. When you get that technique and strength together, you can do things that look or seem impossible. And the other thing you seem to be, from something we were just discussing a little bit before, and you sound to me like you're very competitive. Is that fair to say, that you just don't give up? And
no, I just try and try and try until my hands are bleeding, or until I just like can't try anymore.
Yeah,
that's a good thing, but it's also like killing me because I get injured and then I have to like go away for a long time.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to rest and sort of take time out? Have you got any, because I'm like that as well, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are exactly the same with their own training. Do you have any bits of advice and then also like any techniques or tips that you've got to like actually make yourself rest? Do you do anything to try and like force that upon you?
I'm trying to just get, like, I have no chance to argument with myself. It's just like that day is just rest. Don't do anything else.
Yeah. So is that, would you give yourself like one complete day of rest in each week? Is that how you try and do it?
I did it before.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying more and more, because it's fun to do things, the rest is falling apart.
Yeah.
It's just like I rest some hours there and there, but then when you are resting for some days and then you come back to training and you feel how much power you have.
How much better, yeah.
You get more motivated to rest more.
Yeah, I know. I do it all the time where I'm a sort of very much do as I say, not as I do, because too often I get carried away, at least, and because some of the stuff we're doing is like fun and you're learning new things, and it's like, it's cool when you do something you yesterday couldn't do or whatever, and then get a bit carried away. But I know that when I do give myself more rest than I do train, so if I'm going to if I rested 4 days a week and trained 3 days a week, that's when I make my most progress, and I feel great at that time. But then I start to get excited and over the top, and then it starts flipping the other way, and then I'm like training 4 days and resting 3, and then 5 days and resting 2, and then at some point, that's when things get a little bit difficult. And I always say that if you find that you're trying to do something that still it feels impossible, and you're trying to build up. If you get to the point where you stop making progress and it starts going backwards and it feels more difficult, chances are we're probably fatigued and we've just been training too much, and actually taking some time out would be. But it's difficult, right? Yeah. Just going into, you mentioned about like your hands being torn apart and bleeding. So recently I couldn't believe it when you said, we were trying to organise Fanny's trip to come over, and we agreed a date, I think it was the week before, but you sent me an email, I'm demonstrating my email, sent an email going, oh, is there any chance we could do the week afterwards, because the couple of days before I was going to come, I'm going to do 1,111 pull-ups. And I was thinking, I struggle to do 11 pull-ups sometimes. And so you set yourself that challenge, you did that challenge, and because you want to come and learn the human flag with us, which we're going to hopefully teach you, and you wanted to make sure you're fresh for that, and so we put things back a week. But just tell us about like how much did your hands hurt after 1,100? So show your hand up to those that are watching on YouTube rather than
1 week and 3-4 days ago.
So for those people that are just listening on a podcast, if you imagine like probably 4 massive blisters on...
But it's not so bad.
It's not
so bad. I really like when I'm training and my hands get like blisters, because then I have to rest.
Okay.
It's better to have it's better to have this and get like pain in your shoulders or something. So I really like when I get like really big in my hands, because then I really have to rest.
You then have to, But it's not like it's not joint pain. It's just like a bit superficial. So.
And this was really like good pain, because it was just big things going away in the hands.
Yeah.
But my arms I couldn't like straighten the days after. Yeah. I couldn't lift anything. I had pain all the time.
It's like people, I guess, doing a marathon when after a marathon, it takes like weeks to recover.
It was like 6.5 hours of pull-ups. So
6.5 hours pull-ups, 1,111.
And it
Unbelievable.
went so slow. I'm used to going 5, 5, 5, 5, and up to 900, and then I couldn't do it at 500, so I had to go on 3, and then it was like, oh, I'm so bad, and then everything went so heavy. I didn't get so much pump, it just went heavy.
Just systematic too
and
much.
And then 2, when I had to go on 2 pull-ups every set, I was thinking about maybe I couldn't get the goal, because in one point you can't do anymore.
I'd like
the last 25 was 1, 1, 1, 1.
When you said I've got absolutely no chance of doing 1,000 pull-ups in a day, but I would be interested to see. I might just do maybe do it as a little like vlog for YouTube. Maybe, I don't know. Now I'm saying it, am I committing to it? That I'll try and see how many I could do in a day, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. I think like 500 would be
you can do
ridiculous
it in like 2 hours.
That's a challenge. I don't think I can do 500 pull-ups in 2. I don't think I can do it in 2 hours, but maybe I'll see how many I could do in 2 hours.
3 hours, and then I'll let you know. 500.
But you also don't think that I'm going to teach you a human flag a bit later, so I'm going to hold her to that.
1 year ago, I did 608, I think, and I was like, oh, it's so many, it's crazy, 600 is crazy, and now I'm doing 1,111, like,
It's with the big,
crazy.
thick green band, right? That's all right if I use that.
So you just push the limits all the time?
Yeah.
You don't think about it's a lot of...
Can you remember when you couldn't do one pull-up?
No.
Can you ever remember that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I started
But there must have been a stage in your life when you couldn't do a pull-up.
No, because
even as a kid.
The first time I tried to do pull-ups, I was on this machine,
Yeah.
tried to pull myself up, and I was just doing it, and I didn't try without the machine.
Okay.
So the first time I was trying
it was assisted with the machine.
Yeah, with the machine. Yeah. And then there was a guy who was like, I think you can do it without. I was like, can I? Oh, I can.
Okay.
So I've never tried.
Okay. But so you started off assisted with a machine, which can be like assisted with bands and whatnot.
It was
for how many?
Maybe when I was 16 years old or something.
Okay,
and before that I haven't done pull-ups.
You never tried.
But when you are in the stable and you're lifting things, you're jumping up and you are doing a lot of things. So
you're very active from a very young
I think I
age.
Just could do it.
Yeah. Cool. My other question, we sometimes get, we've had a lot of questions from people when they start doing more stuff on bars and on rings, the hands aren't used to that, and you've showed your blisters from doing 1,111 pull-ups. Like, have you ever worn gloves?
No.
No, and good answer. I was worried then, but they're hands that don't look like they wear gloves. Have you got any advice for someone that is? I'm wondering what the answer's going to be. But any advice for somebody? You're just going to say, suck it up. Have you got any you use chalk, or have you got any things that you do to try and? Well, have you had questions from people before where they go it really hurts their hands because it's so new to them? Yeah. Have you got any tips on that? Or?
Just do it more and it will hurt and then it go away. Because when I was started to climb, my hands were red all the time.
Yeah.
I started with ninja and climbing almost the same time, and every Saturday I get the blisters here. Yeah. And then it was healed until next Saturday. Yeah. And every Wednesday I went climbing, and then was the other part of the hands sore. So the hands was just sore all the time. Yeah. And then I put on Elizabeth Ardren. It's cream, 8-hour cream.
Right, okay.
That you have a really fat cream.
Right.
Just on my hands, a thick layer on the nights.
Yeah. So at night time, and that was helping it.
And just shave it away.
Yeah. And get rid of the hard skin. And over time it adapts, just like the body does in terms of strength training, it adapts and gets used to that. But generally, you heard it here, Fanny Josefine says, don't wear gloves, suck it up. But we need to be sensible that if someone's needs to, if your hands are, if you've got blisters and whatnot, use, like Fanny said, use that as a day to rest. Yeah, you put some cream, but use it as a day to rest until they recover. Cool, and then I've got my final question before I got a question from one of our students, is why did you want to come to, we're stoked to have you here, really excited to have you here at the School of Calisthenics. Why did you want to come, you come all the way from Sweden. Arrived in London, got the train up here to Nottingham. Why did you want to come to the School of Calisthenics? Because
especially the human flag, I've been training for. Before I started to climb, I tried to do it, and I couldn't. And I trained for a whole summer, three times a week, and the progress was tiny. This, and I couldn't get it. And then when I broke my foot last year, I was trying again, and I was trying a little bit more, and then I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. Yeah. And the handstand is also, I'm trying a little bit, and then it's so much other things going on, so you just forget about, because you know how much work you have to put in to get just the handstand. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to come, and I hope that I can get a little bit punch, so I can go. Yeah, so I can come home and really do it.
Yeah. So we suspect with your strength to weight ratio, the fact that you're stronger at the pulling part in the human flag is a huge aspect of it, that top arm pull. You're stronger at pull-ups, way stronger at pull-ups than I am, and that strength to weight ratio should transfer if we start to try and connect some of those dots. When we discussed it before, you were talking about getting the right muscles, to get the right feeling for it, and we call that as part of the part in our framework that's movement patterning, where we're trying to create the right shape and the pattern and get that muscle activation firing and getting the right things clicking together, that I'm suspicious that I think we can give you that in a literally in a day.
Like
yeah,
like
just
this.
did it on. Yeah. We did one with and those that do follow on YouTube. We're gonna capture that session where we're teaching Fanny the human flag, and so you'll be able to see how she does get on and whether I stick to my word on being able to teach her in a day. But if we can't do it in a day, I certainly think we're going to get close. But you'll certainly have the tools and of how to go away and what things to work on. And
it's only
going to tomorrow exactly. You come back and we do it tomorrow, or at least maybe 1 or 2 weeks. The record to beat is we taught Ross Edgley in 45 minutes. So 45 minutes is the current record of how quickly you can learn the human flag. And now I just want to touching on one bit of what you said there, because we've already discussed it before. You, like us, we're always trying to do new things and like trying to learn a lot of stuff, and you go, oh, I want to learn flag and I want to do handstand, and then you've like been swimming, ninja, OCR, like juggling all those different things, and then just like have like your pull-ups and just getting really strong at your pull-ups. Trying to juggle all those things at once can be really difficult, and I think a lot of people sort of resonate with that. And we were discussing this before we came on camera about that you just can't do everything all at the same time, like, and it's sort of around trying to pick on and choose a couple of things that you want to focus on and get them nailed down, and then try and sort of move on, do little bits rather than trying to do everything at once. Have you got any tips for people that are trying to like do quite a few things at the same time?
Try to get like the one thing you want to focus on more, but not to have, because when I'm getting like, it can get boring when you're trying too hard and you don't come anywhere. So
and
have
demotivating if it doesn't, if you don't feel like it's going very well.
So have like a lot of some a little bit easier things that's funny to work on, and then a bigger, like harder, that you can work on.
Great, yeah, I like that. So one like thing that is definitely in the impossible box type thing, and then a few smaller, easier things to
can
work
be
on.
like motivating at the same time. And then for me, I have to take away some things that I really love to do, because I can't do everything. Like boxing, I really love to do boxing, but the problem with boxing for me is when I'm doing it, I get so much energy that I'm thinking that I have superpower. So if I do if I do boxing in the morning, I think have superpower all day long, and then I just overtrain all the day, and then the next day I'm like, oh no, and get pain somewhere, or I can't do it because the boxing is just a little bit of a problem, so I can't do it, but I really love to do it. And also the climbing, I haven't been climbing so much, real climbing, because I have to be careful with my fingers, because it's easy to get like pain here when you're trying to advance, being a better climber, and falling. I have to be careful with the falling. So I just have
both ankles.
So I have to be like, it's a longer, slower progress with the climbing, and I don't have to go like this in climbing because I'm doing so much other things. Yeah,
great. So, a question I had from Steve T, his name is, on Instagram. You maybe check him out. He's one of our students, if you like. He's he's got some of our training. He's been following our training guys. He's got a really big. He's a great guy. He's actually a school teacher himself. But we often, when we ask people to send questions in, we say if they like start their question with like a big compliment, the chances of us asking the question live on the thing go. So he's got on board with that. He said, she is ridiculously strong, pound for pound. Would love to be able to control my body how she can. So that's a nice compliment.
I haven't any body control.
But his question is, he would love to know who you look up to for inspiration and motivation, as you are someone he definitely looks up to. So thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking up to really strong people, but Heather Harty, I think her name is that. She's a boxer from US. She's boxing at Gleason's gym, right? And she's really like not on Instagram or the things she put up, but I know how hard she's working to get the fights, and when she was winning, I know because I have been there training with her. So she's a really big motivation. And then I'm just like such an inspiration from Instagram and the strong people there.
Yeah.
And crazy stuff.
So
doing.
it sounds like you're more impressed with people that can genuinely do stuff that inspires you rather than worrying about whether whether it's a famous person or whatnot. You like taking inspiration from real life people on, which I think is cool. And like we've spent like sort of half the day so far like training and doing a few things, and the big thing that jumps out from me is like how determined and competitive you are, and like how hard you work. And so just how hard this girl works to get as strong as you are. Like you have to put in the work. So be inspired, but then go away and put in the work and be smart about your training. That's something else that you touched on before. So yeah,
nothing comes for free.
Yeah, exactly. It does exactly. It doesn't come free.
Just one finger pull-ups. They come for free.
One finger pull-ups. If someone's if
they are just strong.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing I have. Like I've never worked on one finger pull-ups, and I think I have put on 25 kilo extra on hanging one finger.
So those behind the Harvey's the cameraman, his face, he's just pulled.
I'm never training one finger pull-ups.
Yeah, but you're probably the amount of climbing you've done and the ninja stuff. Before that.
Yeah,
well, that's got to go back to then. You were saying about strong hands from horse riding, like your finger strength. Yeah, I've got the opposite. I've got terribly weak, rubbish hands that have broken, dislocated fingers and snapped tendons playing rugby that I can't bend that one and stuff like that. So my finger strength is very poor. It would definitely take me to the cleaners on that one. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for Fanny for coming over to visit us, taking the time out to actually answer some questions. I hope that gives you a bit of insight into her past and where she's come from, and also some inspiration. Make sure you check her out. You're also doing, check her out on Instagram, which is @Fanny_Josefine. You're also doing a ninja camp in Marbella. Do you want to tell us quickly a little bit about what that's going to be?
It's going to be 4 days with ninja training, OCR training at Mike's gym in Marbella. And we're going to do beach workout, hiking, pool workouts. They have like a monkey bar over the pool, so you can train and fall in the water. That's
those are people that do check her out, Fanny out on Instagram. There's some of your videos are from. You literally see where it is there. It looks like an amazing place to go and train out. We'll put a link in the description so that people can go and check that out, and we'll put the link in for Fanny's Instagram on that, so you can go and check her out. So until next time, class dismissed.